This is a surprisingly hard book for me to review. Pullman's writing is really great in so many ways, and yet somehow I've got a lot of negative things to say about this. So let's start with the positives before the other guy shows up. No, not yet. Well, I thought it was good. Who invited him? The world building in this is still fantastic. Pullman keeps introducing still more concepts. If you can't guess from the title, there's a new object, just as there was the alethiometer, the golden compass in the first book, and then in the second book there was the subtle knife. In this third book there is the Amber Spyglass. And we also get new worlds which honestly feel a bit more sci-fi than fantasy. And from around page 200, the book really starts to take off. The characters are visiting totally new places, exploring new worlds, and I'm a total sucker for exploration. I love maps. I like looking at any fantasy book that has a map in it, and it's one of the reasons I've always loved D&D, because of the maps. I like maps. I've got an example here. This is Dragonlance DL1, the first Dragonlance module, and I mean, just look how cool that map is. The characters are interesting and the ending is very poignant. It's got a great ending. Right, my turn. Let's talk about the actual problems. The entire premise of this book is built on a very dangerous lie about who God is. It's essentially a straw man construction of a particular view of the God of the Bible. I mean, if anything, it's all very Catholic because it talks about doing penance. And what gives it away is there's no mention of Jesus, because actually dealing with Jesus would totally destroy the framework that Pullman is trying to set up. And funnily enough, for a book about God, there seemed to be a deus ex machina towards the end, which I thought was totally unlikely. Yep. Now onto the world building. Yeah, you can't fault the world building. It's a mixed bag. There's stuff that is brilliant, but there is stuff that doesn't feel like it's been developed enough, or it's inconsistent. Yeah, it is mixed. And don't get me started on the lack of maps. Love a good map. To be fair, it is based on our world, and all the other worlds are variants of our world, so I guess you don't really need a map for that. There's no sense of direction. The characters just wander randomly for ages. Even I got lost, and I'm fictional. I hate getting lost. And the characters, sometimes their motivations make no sense. It feels like Pullman had a list of plot points and he just dragged the characters from A to B, regardless of whether that made any sense. It's like often an author will figure out a plot and it's like, okay, I need to get to this point here. And when it's done well, you understand the motivations of the characters and the events to get them to that point. And when it gets to the outcome, you go, oh yes, that made sense. But when it's done poorly, the characters and events just kind of feel random. Like, why are they doing this? And then they get to the outcome and you're still like, I don't know how that character knew to do that. And that's how I felt with this book. And I don't think it's just that the author didn't narrate what the motivations of the characters were. It's more a case of how would the character know to do that thing? There were definitely moments where I kind of thought, wait, how could that character have known that? And then the absolute low point is when the book frames the whole religious world as this fight between wisdom and stupidity. It's more of Pullman's obnoxious preaching. Yeah. And it reminds me of that time back in the 2000s when there was a group of atheists calling themselves the Brights. Even Christopher Hitchens called that out for being cringeworthy. Is this the place where wisdom is fighting stupidity? Because I'd like to join the team with biscuits. And yet with all that, I still give this book 4 stars. Pullman's prose is genuinely excellent. I just disagree with some of his ideas and plot choices. And so we return to the question I asked in the first video. Does this series deserve to be number 3 in BBC's top 100 books of all time? No, I don't think so. Call me crazy, but I think in 50 years' time, this series will not be as remembered as a bunch of other series. Now, I remember things, mostly where the biscuits are. It kind of rode on a wave of controversy when it first came out, and these types of polls suffer from recency bias. I have no doubt it will probably still be in like maybe the top 20 or top 50, but definitely not in position number 3. Anyway, that's my review. Agree, disagree, fight me in the comments. Bye.